game people. You are hurting yourself in Kiambu where you live, because then you will be sharing resources of fewer people just because you were ignorant. Number two, MPs. You know, Dibala was an MP for 15 years.
Yes.
I'm not an MP anymore. I'm not dead. That is left to God. MPs must stop behaving like they will be the next MP for the next constituency. In any case, Dibala, they may be better informed to know that only an average of 44% is re-elected. So you must always think of the possibility of being in the 66%, so that you don't treat a constituency like your home. But the bigger thing is that to change constituency boundaries is with boundaries is IEBC, which is the boundaries part of it, which happens, I think, every 9 years? 10 years, every 10 years. And that is standard around the world, including the United States. Every 10 years, there is redistricting census, which informs that kind of thing. Now, there were constituencies which we protected, which is what I thought how Tinda was going to end, because he was a party to it. We protected these constituencies mentioned here, Budalangi, Kieni. They were protected. They did not meet the threshold. So after 10 years, if they don't have the population, part of them, some constituencies had more people. They may now have more people. Part of that constituency must be split to join the smaller constituency for better services. It means at some point in 100 years, constituencies may have similar numbers, but the numbers will remain the same. So if you are in Budalangi constituency, for example, you don't, I think the formula is 131,000 people, Tinda may correct me, but if you only have the population which is said here, which is under 100,000, you are wiped off. It means all those constituencies in that county will be collapsed, and IBC shall redistribute the numbers and come up with a new set of constituencies. So, and that is good for our country. So we don't end up with perpetually tribal constituencies. We want Kenyans to be Kenyans. And that is the intention of the Constitution.
Right, Wamatangi.
Yes, Dibala.
Yeah, we have Haman here saying that Jubilee only sends money where they can follow it to eat it. Also tell Otena Molo that the constituencies may remain 290, but others could be swallowed and others subdivided. Otena will answer that. Let's hear from Wamatangi.
Dibala, when I look at the headlines and definitely apply my mind to it, the first thing that comes to mind is that yes, that is true, that the constituencies, the numbers are secured in the Constitution. But that does not change some of the realities. For example, in my own county of Kiambu, I have some constituencies, for example, Ruiru, which has got about 600,000 people, 600,000 in one constituency. Like Thika, which has got close probably to similar numbers. Indeed, in a county with 12 sub-counties, you find that with a population of about 3 million people, you're talking about an average of almost about 300,000 if you are just to level. That means that there are some sub-counties now still with this debate going on, and the security of the numbers in the Constitution that are heavily because, for example, in application of for example, CDF funds, if you have an MP who has got a sub-county with 600,000 people and gets their CDF of 100 million, and you have one with a sub-county with 66,000.
There's 146.
Yeah, sure. There's one SACU with 46,000. But then you can see the disparity, and you can call it unfairness, if you like, in the distribution of wealth. And that's what I would want to say, that I'm hoping, as a representative of a very populous county, while supporting what my colleagues have said, as far as the registration an acknowledgement of those that will be counted is concerned, you be counted where you are. Kiambu is one such county whereby if you go to Odero here, if you go to Kino, Kikuyu, Githurai, you go to Roiro, Thika, almost all our areas are completely cosmopolitan. Every Kenyan from every part of this country is represented in those communities, in those sub-counties. So I would also be very concerned if all the people, for example, who are in Juja, who work in the institutions around there or in Ruiru would say that we want to go and be counted in Gem and in Turkana and wherever, and then after the census they come back and go back to the houses where they live in Kiambu to get services from the same county where they live while they were counted elsewhere. I believe the census must acknowledge people with where they are. That is the best way. And then fairness will start to be experienced by most of our communities. If there is an area that will benefit from a fair census, and then from there we escalate that discussion to now realigning and relooking at the parameters with which the CRA, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, allocates the percentages or the amounts then that are used to disburse those funds. Certainly with a view of ensuring that population carries the weight that it should, because it is human beings who are supposed to be more recognized by those parameters. Then I think we can start to get it right. In the absence of that kind of discussion, still remember that we are running very fast to a referendum, and so it cannot be lost that voice can find its way even to the referendum, because through the referendum those numbers of the constituencies can be tweaked and brought down. And if one was to look, for example, at what this Punguza Midiwo was saying, by trying to highlight the focus around the ward, if people were persuaded that at the ward level that is where you would need to concentrate your resources, you are able to get to reach more people, touch the constituency because they will still belong to the ward, that would be a very different discussion.
Thank you.
And so I think what we just need to do is to ensure that we can have an egalitarian society, an equal society that's fair to everybody in this country, and ensure that resources go to our people.
Right.
The numbers may not necessarily matter according to those boundaries that are there. Lastly, according to our boundaries review, Dibal, I believe when review of boundaries comes, we have a lot of things that we would want to be saying. Certainly, for example, I, as a member of the community in Kiambu, I look at some of the boundaries that are there. I can't understand, for example, why when I'm in Ruaka, somebody tells me that Two Rivers is in Nairobi. And this is where we have grown. I mean, it's not sensible. In fact, those are some of the debates we are going to be advancing. You know, why would Bigashie where it is, and somebody says that village market is in Nairobi or
right.
Runda?
So have you read the river and the source?
Yeah, I mean,
where is the source? Is the source in Nairobi or is it right?
So what would be saying is that some of those boundary reviews, we are going to be speaking a lot about them when the boundary review agenda comes to the table.
Fantastic.
Now let's first deal with the referendum.
All right.